I'm back for more podcast daily. Thank you by the way for supporting me on my first ever YouTube podcast, and I really didn't expect to for you guys to follow and show love for me on my first podcast. I had 50 plus subscribers and 500 views. I haven't checked it lately because I was busy gathering informations in the top 5 leagues, because in my podcast for now I would be discussing to you all of the top 5 leagues in world football, the fixture, the results, some key news, and alerting breaking news. So let's start. I'll just say what I've felt for my previous video on my debut in my podcast career after we get this done on the way. Okay? Just thank you guys for supporting me. Day 2 in my podcast. Let's start with France. France Ligue 1. Which I saw a lot of surprises. I saw a lot of good results and a shocking results too. France Ligue 1. We'll start with Lens versus Brest, ending with 0-0 to 1 in the favor of Brest. Saint Etienne versus Metz finished 1-1. They shared a point. Bordeaux versus Troyes ended 2-0. Nantes versus Montpellier 2-0. Nantes has been very good as of late. After their win against PSG the following fixture, 3-1 with Neymar, Kylian Mbappe, and then Messi playing, it was a good fixture for them. Good result. Fantastic. Reims Strasbourg finished 1-1. They shared a point. Rennes and Angers 2-0 in the favor of Rennes. Lyon Lorient went down to the war, but Lorient couldn't contain Lyon 4-1. Lyon winning. The former champions Lille crushed Clermont Foot 4-0, and Marseille Monaco ending up with the Monaco side winning 1-0. And PSG versus Nice was a shocker. They got destroyed at the last minute 1-0. They better do good because Real Madrid is their next fixture in the Champions League. Let's now go to Spain, the Liga. Athletic Club versus Levante 3-1, favorable Athletic Club. Alaves Sevilla ended 0-0. Sevilla needs to win now to catch up to Real Madrid, but they drew against Alaves, a relegation battling team. Osasuna Villarreal ended it 1-0. Espanyol versus Getafe ended 2-0. Valencia versus Granada ended 3-1 in favor of Valencia. Real Madrid crushed Real Sociedad 4-1. Very alarming news for PSG fans. Cadiz versus Rayo Vallecano ended 2-0. Elche versus Barca, a late winner on penalties by Memphis Depay, 2-1 to Barca. I watched this live with Elche going up on front. Betis versus Atletico Madrid 3-1. Good that Atletico are now winning games. They needed it. And Celta Vigo Mallorca. Mallorca was a gritty affair. 4-3 in favor of Celta Vigo. Let's now go to Germany, where the beer capital of the world in Bundesliga. Arminia Bielefeld versus Augsburg finished 0-1 in favor of Augsburg. Bayern, courtesy of an own goal by Thomas Muller, ended in 1-1 against Bayer Leverkusen. Bayern has been struggling in Bundesliga and also in the Champions League. And Lewandowski hasn't been scoring goals like Lewandowski, a runner-up for Ballon d'Or last season. Bochum versus Greater Fürth ended 2-1 in favor of Bochum. Hertha Berlin versus Frankfurt ended in favor of Frankfurt 4-1. Leipzig Freiburg shared a point 1-1. Wolfsburg versus Union Berlin ending in 1-0 in favor of Wolfsburg. Stuttgart versus Mönchengladbach ending 3-2 Stuttgart. Köln and Hoffenheim 0-1 in favor of Hoffenheim. Let's go now to the Serie A, where in Italy the Scudetto, everyone wants to win it, but only one would win it in late April. Inter and Salernitana was a cruising result for Inter as Lautaro grabbed a hat-trick, 5-0. Udinese Sampdoria 2-1 favor of Udinese. Roma Atalanta, courtesy of a Tammy Abraham. Hopefully Gareth Southgate chooses him for this year's World Cup because he's been fantastic. 1-0 favor Roma. Cagliari, Lazio ended 3-0. Lazio getting the better of it. Genoa Empoli ended in 0-0. Shared a point, 1 point. Venezia Sassuolo 4-1 in favor of Sassuolo. Bologna Torino ended in 0-0. Sharing a point. Fiorentina Hellas Verona ended 1-1, sharing a point. Juve Spezia. Juve finding a goal to put them 3 points up the ladder. Napoli and Milan. This is the headline news that we will be discussing later on. Napoli Milan 1-0 in favor of Milan. AC Milan. English Premier League. This is where all of the hot topics and key fixtures in world football is happening right now. Leicester Leeds ending with Leicester winning 1-0 and a debut for their manager in March ended in Leeds 1-0 loss with their former manager Marco Bielsa saying a farewell. Good manager, but tactically Leeds needed a new one. But they need to thank him for that, for leading them into the Premier League again after a long period of time. Aston Villa and Southampton ending a 4-0 cruising performance by a Brazilian. Later we'll discuss in Aston Villa. Burnley Chelsea 4-0. Reece James is back. Kai Havertz showing his class. 4-0 Chelsea. Wow, what a bounce back after that Carabao Cup skying penalty from their backup keeper. Newcastle Brighton ending in 2-1. Wolves Crystal Palace ending 2-0 favor of Crystal. Arsenal Watford. Arsenal is showing their class right now, and it's just so good to see Arsenal back on the stage of football that they needed to be. They defeated Watford 3-2, by the way. And Liverpool versus West Ham ending in 1-0. Big 3-4 for us again, but Man City versus Man United, a good start, a disgraceful finish, 4-1. We'll be discussing those topics later on. And Tottenham versus Everton 5-0. I just don't know what Tottenham are you gonna get daily or weekly. This is just very odd for Tottenham right now. But they won 5-0 against a Frank Lampard Everton side. So there you have it. Those are the fixtures for this week. Every week we'll be discussing fixtures, their results, and now into the big one. Some key alerts, news, breaking news, transfer rumors, you name it. We're gonna be starting off in Ligue 1 in France. Coupe de France last fixture, Nice. That was a shocker, where they defeated PSG on their previous fixture in the Coupe de France on penalties, where Messi played at the time. And now, on the following fixture in the France Ligue 1, PSG lost a last-minute late goal from a Nice player named Andy Delort. Wow. With Real Madrid, PSG's next fixture, they need to be on their A game. Mauricio Pochettino said they didn't even deserve to win that game because he said that they were all relying on Kylian Mbappe. Well, if you have Neymar and Mbappe, Messi in your squad, you should not be relying only on Mbappe. You should be more on team performance, and the manager has to do a better job for his players to step up. And now Real Madrid is their complete test at the Stadio Bernabeu tomorrow. And even Pochettino added PSG could face their toughest opponent of the year. Yes, Real Madrid number 1 in La Liga, an on-form Benzema, Modric, and Vinicius Jr. down on that left flank. This is gonna be a feisty match tomorrow. With also Kylian Mbappe, I've heard an article that he's not even healthy enough to start or to play that game. Will we see a Neymar or Messi reminiscing of MSN? Well, who will replace Kylian Mbappe in the starting lineup? Julian Draxler, Angel Di Maria. So I still have faith that PSG could win it in Madrid, but with the key injuries that Madrid has, it will be hard for them to stop PSG. Now let's go to La Liga. Barcelona continue to ride, and with their newly and former legend of the game in Xavi Hernandez. I'm happy that Barcelona is finally on the groove, competing against the League giants, and now in the Europa League where they're the favorites. Adama, Aubameyang, Ferran Torres, Dani Alves is back. What a signing for those four. Barcelona continue to a late push to beat Sevilla out of that second place. Well, Sevilla has been struggling, so take advantage of it, Barcelona. With the rivals of Barcelona is Real Madrid. Ancelotti even saying that the same results against PSG will have Real Madrid injuries. This is it, the Real Madrid injuries that I've been talking about a while ago. They will miss 4 key players in their squad. Marcelo was injured, Toni Kroos also injured, Ferland Mendy is also injured, and Casemiro, who has been booked for tackling Messi recklessly, and he will miss the round of 16 tie in Madrid. With El Clasico also around the corner, a very tough fixture for Real Madrid because this Barcelona team haven't won in El Clasico for the last 5 fixtures. In those 5 fixtures, Real Madrid came out on top. With Messi, Ronaldo not anymore playing, well, it's sad that the 2 greatest of all time players in football is not anymore a part of the best fixture in world football. It's kind of sad to see them part ways, and they've been struggling, but hopefully this World Cup, their last ever World Cup, they'll show that what true GOATs, true leader amongst men, what they really are. And that will be on March 21st, 2022. So remove all your busy schedule in that game because that will be a match to watch in my opinion. I would be watching that and I would be cheering for Barcelona to win this time. Let's go Xavi. And this would be Xavi's first El Clasico since 2015 where he left. So but that time he was a player, and not this time around he will be on the bench cheering for his squad tactically. So Xavi, don't underestimate him. Well, Carlo Ancelotti is also a very good manager and has very good players in him, but that will be a very good test for Xavi's excellence this season. They're just going up right now, and if they beat Real Madrid, it will be a game changer. It will be a game changer for Xavi. He will be turning heads if he wins this. Let's now go to Germany in the Bundesliga, where a Real Madrid player, or should I say Real Madrid future player or Barcelona future player in Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland has suffered amount of injuries this season. Not to mention they're all knocked out the Europa League, Champions League, DFB Pokal, and they're struggling in Bundesliga. With Bayern so close to winning a 10th straight Bundesliga title. If ever they win it in April. They're 9 points up. Haaland is targeted by, yes, Barcelona, Real Madrid, 2 Manchester clubs, Bayern Munich, and PSG. 6 world clubs team are targeting Erling Haaland because he will become a free agent. But his agent said that we are focusing only for the future. Well, what future? The future in Dortmund? Well, for me, I would say Erling Haaland must think about this closely because he's still young. Maybe one more good season in Dortmund, I say, because he still have Jude Bellingham as a backup midfield, who is also a promising talent. So, if you're Erling Haaland, this would be a crucial, because if you sign for a club that doesn't value you, doesn't supply you with the proper players, you could end up seriously hurting your own future. So him and his agent are discussing things out, just like Kylian Mbappe in Real Madrid. But hopefully he stays in PSG. Speaking of young talents, let's now go to a veteran talent, should I say, in Germany. He's being called the goalkeeper. You know him. Manuel Neuer will return after an apparent injury in early February. He will be returning against FC Salzburg in the Champions League tomorrow. key fixture for Bayern because as I see the Austrian champions, I watched the game. They were good. They had good players in Karim Adeyemi, and they have a good young manager. But this time it will be in the Allianz Arena with no away goals. The away goals is done in the Champions League and the Europa League. So I must say it will be good test for Bayern Munich as they have been struggling, and the Austrian champions are not gonna be faced by any big names in that club against Bayern. And that will be tomorrow. But Neuer returns, the goalkeeper, the old and reliable goalkeeper. And he's also a World Cup champion. Speaking of World Cup champions, Borussia Dortmund has produced some of the world's greatest talents in world football. They've also had some World Cup players in that squad before. But the future of Dortmund seems to be a little bit shaky right now. They're going to end the season trophyless if they don't turn it around, because Bayern are eyeing for the 10th Bundesliga title in a row. Yes, wow. This will be very big for Dortmund's plan for the future, because with Erling Haaland partially talking to other linked clubs, Jude Bellingham also being linked with other clubs in England. Liverpool is one. I don't know the others. But if you could see Dortmund's career or future, are they just content to be fighting for a second place, third place, fourth place finish in the Bundesliga? Or I think they should contend more and beat Bayern Munich out of the top spot, because out of these top 5 leagues, only Bundesliga for me is the league that never fails to amaze me. Yes, it's beat Bayern all the time. Bayern. I think just give Bayern the title in the start of the season and just let other clubs in Germany play for the second place in the Europa League place or the Champions League place. No, I'm just kidding. Speaking of a league that fails to amaze me, let's go to Serie A, where a lot of teams are battling it out for the Scudetto. But let's start for Dybala's future. Paulo Dybala, a young superstar from Argentina. Will he be playing for the World Cup? Well, maybe we'll discuss that in the next podcast. What's his future in Juventus? He's being linked with Barcelona and Liverpool. Well, 2 big clubs, because he's gonna become a free agent this summer. Paulo Dybala. He had big expectations when he first got onto the scene in 2017. He was being compared to Diego Maradona and said to be the successor of Lionel Messi. But as of now, I don't think he will reach the level of Lionel and Diego. But if he stays consistent, he could have his own career paved along the way with those great talent. Not like Leo Messi, who's been like the greatest of all time, one of the greatest of all time. But for me, Paulo Dybala, if he moves to another club and he shows his excellence, it could be very big for his future. Maybe linked to Liverpool? Well, with Roberto Firmino aging and his future also in talks, why not sign him, Liverpool? Jurgen Klopp never fails to amaze our signings, new signings. Speaking of good signing, how about Olivier Giroud? He has been a good signing for AC Milan since last season. Started out as a Montpellier leading goal scorer and helped them win the league title years ago in 2009. He has achieved so much in football. He is being called the go-kart champion by his former, or should I say teammate, for this year's World Cup. And for me, he has been a key piece to Didier Deschamps' 2018 World Cup tournament or career. He finished without a goal on target, but his presence in the striking position is what differs me, because he's not that quick. He's being criticized for his pace. He's so slow, but he doesn't give up. That's what I love about him. He doesn't give up, and many are saying that he's a go-kart champion, but not bad for a go-kart champion who has won the Champions League with Chelsea, who has won the Europa League with Chelsea, FA Cup with Chelsea, and Arsenal. He won 3 FA Cups with Arsenal, and also a scorpion kick that shocked the whole world and won him the Golden Pushkash. Not bad for a go-kart. Would you rather be a F1 racer, but not a champion, a world champion, but a go-kart champion? I would rather be a go-kart champion. Will they be playing in France? The two of them. You know who I'm talking about. The guy who told Giroud that you're only a go-kart champion. Will they be a key masterpiece to France's World Cup this year in Qatar? Will they repeat, or will they bumble it? Remember, the World Cup curse is real. Speaking of curse, we have Paul Pogba, who has been struggling as of late this season. Pogba, who came into the Manchester United in 2011 and was released and brought in by Juventus, where in Juve he was called the next big thing coming from France. Paul Pogba then played in the World Cup, reached the quarterfinals, and played at the UCL final at the age of 21 only. 21. What a talent Paul Pogba is at that time. And on 2016, he broke the scenes and came back to Manchester United for a record-breaking fee, 89 million euros. Wow. But the question is, was he really that high of a price? I mean, Paul Pogba is a good player, but he has been struggling as of late. Yeah, he won the World Cup in 2018, where he was one man of the match, assisted twice, but since then he has gone from a mediocre player, gonna have a good game, and then the following game would be like, he was absent against Manchester City, who would, me in my opinion, it's not that worth of a value. And this just can't happen again. Where will Pogba land again? They're saying it, Juve again, but this time for free. And what a bargain for Juve this would be. But Paul Pogba is gonna be nearing 28, and he's on his prime right now, and a lot of people saying that he's a flop. Well, I hope he turns out not to be, because what a talent he has been. And also, he's a UEFA Nations League winner last season with France. With Serie A going down the wire, 4 teams are really battling it out in the race for the Scudetto in Italy. 4 teams. 4 teams are just separated by 4 points. The other month, Inter Milan was killing it. They're top. They're 5 points clear below AC Milan, and Napoli 7 points behind. But now, AC Milan are on top thanks to Olivier Giroud's excellence. And Napoli, just last week, was on top of the Serie A when they beat Lazio. And now, it's going around, and we would never know who would end up winning the Serie A this season. It will be a very fascinating season going down the stretch. And the top 4 race and the Europa League contention in Italy is getting feisty. I really hope that Germany, the Bundesliga, would be like the Serie A right now, because before, Serie A was also conquered by Juventus, who won 7 straight titles. So hopefully someone would contend for Bayern Munich's excellence. Speaking of feisty, let's now go down to the Premier League. Let me take a sip of coffee first. Good morning, by the way, all. The Premier League is now a 2-horses leg race. In the Serie A, there's 4 teams battling out. In the Premier League, there would be only 2 coming down the wire in April. Those are Liverpool and Manchester City. What can I say? These 2 has been grueling it out for the last 4 seasons. Speaking of Liverpool, an ex-Liverpool superstar named Philippe Coutinho is killing it and loving his stay in England. He really loves England so much. Where was this Philippe Coutinho last season or the last season in Barcelona? Where was this Coutinho? He's now showing his Brazilian flair, his Brazilian excellence in that midfield area in Aston Villa. Before Philippe Coutinho, Aston Villa were 16th. Before they loaned him out of Barcelona, they were 16th in the Premier League. But now they're 11th. This goes to show you how his value has been. Well, if we did sell Philippe Coutinho, maybe we wouldn't have Virgil, Van Dijk, and Alisson. So maybe it was a win-win, win or lose situation for us because Van Dijk has been on top of his game. And speaking of Virgil van Dijk, he has been invincible in Anfield. No defeats in the past 60 games. 52 games, 8 draws, 0 defeat. Not bad for a $75 million per year. Not bad, right? He has won the Champions League, Premier League, League Cup, Super Cup, UEFA Super Cup, and the Club World Cup. Well, there's one guy that I'm really gonna compare him to, that they said this 80 million merchant said, they were saying that this 80 million merchant is going to beat Virgil van Dijk in the next 2 years, and he would be better. And as of now, I really don't see anyone better than him in the Premier League. Who is that 80 million merchant? I really don't know. He plays for England and he captains one of the clubs in England. More like 80 cents in my opinion. Not 80 million. I'm just so shocked how Manchester United really pays for players like this value. Maybe their scouting report wasn't on point. On point. Better sign some agents then, Manchester United. Meanwhile, another guy from Anfield is killing it with Trent Alexander-Arnold. He just never misses. Trent never misses. He has now assisted 17 assists in all competitions. What a right back for him. And he plays right back. He doesn't play midfielder. He doesn't play in a striker position. He doesn't play the left or right winger position. He plays as a defender. 17 assists. Not bad, okay? Not bad after what's been a horrible season for him last season. They said Pablo Escobar was the biggest name figure in Colombian history. I don't think that now. Now there's a guy called Luis Fernando Diaz who's been killing it for Liverpool and is now a big factor in our chase for the quadruple. And he's also Colombian. He's being compared to Cristiano Ronaldo, but in my opinion, that's too far. But in what I'm seeing, he's too quick with the ball. He has an appetite for goal. He's just this good. These are the players that some of the clubs should sign. I'm happy that Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool were able to lure him out of Tottenham and for us to enjoy it. Because we've been enjoying this figure from Colombia. Move out the way because this guy's gonna be tearing up the Premier League in the next 2-3 seasons. Speaking of Tottenham, that I just said earlier that formerly Diaz would be playing in this club, but maybe Diaz doesn't want to end his life goalless, trophyless. That's why he moved to Liverpool and won in just 1 month, won a trophy. With Tottenham ending the season with no trophy to lift this season, they're out of the FA Cup, they're out of the League Cup, either in international European competition, and then the Premier League is unlikely for them to reach. Harry Kane is gonna be turning 29 and he's still trophyless. We'll discuss more of Harry Kane's future on their next podcast, maybe. But for Tottenham, it was a surprise, beating Everton 5-0. 5. Tottenham has been struggling, but when they beaten Manchester City, I just didn't know what Tottenham are gonna get. Are you gonna get this Tottenham team that won all the way to the Champions League final, or are you gonna get the Tottenham that was crushed by Bayern Munich 7-2 on their home stadium? They still have some good players. They still have a legendary piece in Harry Kane and a super elite Asian talent in Heung-min Son, who are the two greatest combo men in English Premier League football. They shared a lot of goals with 30 plus, and they've been tearing it apart, and they've been in Tottenham for 7 years. Tottenham must be lucky that Heung-min Son and Harry Kane are still in their club, because all of the players as of this moment go for trophies, go for money, not for Heung-min Son and Harry Kane. Well, for Harry Kane, I just don't know what his future is. But for Heung-min Son, the South Korean will stay in Tottenham for many years to come. He's just that loyal. I'm happy for him. Meanwhile, there are two teams in North London: Tottenham, where I just mentioned, and Arsenal. Arsenal has been killing it after a bad finish in the last 2 seasons in the Premier League. They're on their quest for the Champions League place. And I can't lie. I don't want to lie. I saw the game. Bukayo Saka has been magnificent. Out of those 3 players that played for England, the young players that Gareth Southgate chose to take the penalty, out of those players, Bukayo Saka, Marcus Rashford, and Jadon Sancho, of course, 2 are playing for the same club. Only Bukayo Saka I have seen a lot of improvement in him. He possessed that mentality that I want to be better. I want to win more games for England the following season. And I think he will be a part of World Cup 2022 in Qatar this year. But for the 2 men that have missed the penalty and has been struggling as of late, I don't think Gareth Southgate would be choosing them for this summer's World Cup. I mean, there are a lot of players killing it. But for Bukayo Saka, grab your tickets because you would be in the World Cup. And it's just crazy if Gareth Southgate not choosing him. He's just doing it all for Arsenal. A young talent, good future ahead of him, and I'm just happy that he was able to bounce back after all the criticism he had to go through after that Euro penalty miss. Another future of Arsenal is also Gabriel Martinelli, which Jurgen Klopp said that he would be a good talent. Keep an eye on him because he would be a very good talent in the near future. Yes, Martinelli has shown a lot this season. And he also mentioned that he wants to stay in Arsenal for the rest of his career. Why not Arsenal let that happen? Because many players now play for trophies, for money. Why not let Martinelli stay here for the whole run? He's a good player. He has a lot to offer in your squad. And he has been balling out. I don't know if he's going to be in the World Cup, but because a lot of Brazilian midfielders are balling out also, are on top form, are playing fantastically. But for Martinelli, he just have to be patient because he's gonna be up there in the following years. Another future superstar of Arsenal, I should say a superstar already, who's been carrying Arsenal, who's having a good form, is Martin Odegaard. He's been labeled as a as a replacement for top midfielders in Real Madrid, but since a lack of form, a lack of playing time, Odegaard found himself in Arsenal. Well, before that, he was on Norway, playing overseas, switching clubs, being loaned out, but I'm just happy that he's happy now in Arsenal and is giving me that Mesut Ozil vibes. Him and Saka reminds me and are reminiscing the Mesut Ozil and Alexis Sanchez partnership that Arsene Wenger bought to this club. Hopefully, they would have a good finish, and they will have a good finish if these three players are on top form. They're very good. Speaking of very good, it was a very good start for Manchester City and Manchester United in the first 25 to 35 minutes of the game, or should I say the first half. The Manchester Derby came out with a great start, but ended with one Manchester team ending in a disaster and disgraceful finish. Yes, guys, the Manchester Derby had a good start. I watched the game from the hospital, but to see the game finish, it was just seeing a lot of players not going for the ball. Can you imagine 92% possession by Manchester City against Manchester United, only 8% in the last 15 minutes of the possession. In that span, they scored 2 goals courtesy of Riyad Mahrez. What's that? I mean, where were your big players? Man United. And Roy Keane was so upset and so disgraced that 5 or 6 players in Manchester United who are playing now should be ripped off and banned ever for playing in Old Trafford or wearing the red jersey or the Red Devils badge. That's kind of harsh, but Roy Keane, you know him, an Irish gladiator mentality that wants to win, wants to fight you. I really hope that Manchester United sign players like him. Well, yeah, it wasn't a good finish. And also Ralph Ragnick didn't choose Cristiano Ronaldo, who had an apparent injury. Do you believe it? I don't. I don't think that Cristiano Ronaldo had an injury. Roy Keane said it wouldn't even add up to expectations if Ronaldo played, but he is also not buying the incident that Cristiano Ronaldo will not be playing in the Manchester Derby. His sister liked a comment a post in Instagram saying that he wasn't injured. He was just not picked by their interim manager, Rafael. Imagine if that is true, but I don't want to further investigate in that particular news because that's kind of harsh for Ronaldo to feel. Why not just say he wasn't picked? Well, some of us are getting old and we're all struggling. But Ronaldo, if he's not picked, he should not fake an injury. Just leave it out for the players. I mean, you've done your part for the majority of the season, but for the majority of Manchester United players, they just don't fight with eagerness anymore. They're just going with the ball, clearing it everywhere. They're so scrappy. And Manchester City really handed them maybe the worst defeat. I think their worst defeat was against the Liverpool squad that had 5-0 with Cristiano Ronaldo playing. Who knows? But next season, better step it up, Man U. It's just so sad to see that all of your players bought in for almost 1 billion, close to 1 billion, the amount of money that they've added in that squad, not even stepping up in big games like what we expect. It's sad. Speaking of players not able to shine in big games, is Kevin De Bruyne must be the opposite of it. In the past 6 years, Kevin De Bruyne has seen some struggles on his early days in Chelsea. He was a reject of Chelsea. And he was transferred from Wolfsburg, showed some excellence there, even won the DFB Pokal. And after that, Manchester City saw what Chelsea couldn't. And that was appearing in big games and crushing teams that are in the top 4. For De Bruyne, he's been fantastic. I really hate Manchester City, but there are players in Manchester City that I really respect that have played for Manchester City. Those are three players only. One is Vincent Company, who's now retired, is now manager. Second is Sergio Aguero, who's not anymore playing anymore because of heart heart surgery or heart failure. But hopefully he goes back to his best. There's still hope that he could play. I know he would. Ericsson made it possible. And third is Kevin De Bruyne. Since his early days in Manchester City, this is the guy that I said maybe Liverpool should sign him. But I think Manchester City are paying him too much, and that too much is just exactly what he needs because he's been there for big games. He's been playing outstandingly for Manchester City. And he is a Liverpool fan when he was young, when he was still playing for the academy in Belgium and Genk, I think. Yeah, he was an academy player, and he had a very bad story. He really had a bad past, but now he's enjoying life, and the Premier League is up for grabs again. Could they win it 4 times in the past 5 seasons? That is, I don't know, because Liverpool are on the verge, are on the tails, and don't relax now. We're coming. There you have it, guys. Wow, another end to a fantastic day in my podcast career. Guys, this is it. All I have to say that thank you for letting me live a life here in YouTube or in social media. I'm really happy that I'm able to share my footballing knowledge to you guys, and it's okay if you don't watch the whole video. You just get some insights about it because some of you guys I know isn't a fan of football, but I hope I'm inspiring you to watch, at least support any club that you would love to. So yeah, thank you for all the support you've given me. It just 60 subscribers and 500 reviews in my first video is really heartwarming and overwhelming. So thank you guys. I will never forget those who've trusted me and showed me respect. There are some people I know that who's been supporting me. I really thought that this would be. I didn't really expect that this would turn out to be a good one on my first podcast. But now, it's really, I'm really inspired to do more weekly because I still have a lot of things to sort out. I just started this list last night and I couldn't sleep until 12 a.m. So a lot of effort put into this. So I hope you enjoyed it. A simple like, a simple subscription would do the thing for me, and I would really appreciate it. And if you have any suggestions or criticism about what I'm doing, please drop it down below or message me on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, or in Messenger, because I would really want to improve my podcast, and I would really love some of your criticism, and I would really love some, how to change my podcast and turn out to be a magnificent one. So there you have it, guys. Yes, thank you for your love and support. I'll see you in day 3 then, maybe next week or maybe on Friday. When the Champions League starts, I would be covering it up, and that's it. Thank you, guys.